from a black perspective. So if you want financial news and commentary from a black perspective, then make sure you subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com. What's the topic for today? Well, the topic for today, there's a twofold. One is the Los Angeles Lakers. The other is today's market. In case you've been following the stock market, today took another leap. It's going up very, very rapidly. The Dow over the last few days. Today is what's the date? Today is the 28th of April. The Dow over the last 5 days has shot up like a rocket. It's 24,464. A week ago it was at 23,437. Which is actually higher than a month ago, where it was 22,327. But it's lower than it was, say, 6 months ago, where it reached as high as 29,000. So what's going on right now is you're seeing a lot of people making a lot of money during the recovery. Of course, money gets lost when there's a drop, but those who are consistent and resilient with investing make more money when the stocks go up. Now, do stocks go up when people lose their jobs? Not all the time. Not all the time. You can think of your payroll for a business almost like a weight on the body, right? An athlete, you remember LeBron James had a coach, if I'm not mistaken, who told him he needed to gain 20 or 30 pounds. Michael Jordan had a coach who told him he needed to gain 30 pounds. Now, he didn't want him to gain 30 pounds in a way that would slow him down. He wanted him to gain 30 pounds in a way that would make him stronger, right? So there are trade-offs. Many of you who are business owners understand this. If you go and you hire employees, you have to make sure that you're able to use those individuals, that they can actually help your company, and that your company's revenues go up as a result of more hiring. Now, if you get to the point where you don't have any work for them, let's say you don't have any customers coming in, you don't have any business, then you may have to let people go, because you need customers, you need revenue in order to pay your employees. That's why I really get on people who attack black businesses and tell black business owners that they should give their products away for free, because what you're doing is you're killing black jobs, because you're killing company revenue. You're killing their ability to make money, and the money that they make is the money that's used to pay their employees. So the stock market doesn't always go up just because unemployment goes up. Sometimes it goes down when unemployment. If a company has great workers that are doing a great job, that are really helping the company make more money, then Wall Street will say, "What are you doing? Why are you letting go of your good people? You need those people, right?" It's like an athlete that's losing weight. There's a point where you lose too much weight. You're too skinny now. Now you can't play basketball anymore. So basically, that's the thinking process. Sometimes, sometimes letting people go helps the company. Sometimes letting people go hurts the company. Right now, unfortunately, we are in a situation where letting people go can help the company, because there is no revenue. There are no customers, right? If I have a restaurant and I've got 10 employees and nobody's walking through the door buying pizza, then how am I going to pay my employees? What am I going to do? Of course, people are going to cuss you out and get mad at you because you're the business owner, right? When you're the boss, you take all the blame, right? Like, what are you doing? You letting go all your employees. You're a dirty capitalist. But you're like, I can't be a dirty capitalist because I don't even have any capital. How can I be a dirty capitalist if I have no capital? I have no customers. Nobody's buying any pizza. So how am I supposed to hire these people if you don't help me, if you don't give me some customers, right? So basically, what you really want to try to understand is the give and the take, and the yin and the yang that must occur between the labor market and the consumer market. When you have no consumers, then you cannot pay labor. So it's very important that we don't destroy businesses. We strengthen businesses so that businesses can then strengthen the community by hiring more black people. The more money our company makes, for example, the more black people I hire. And I love hiring black people. I love going out and finding great people and bringing them in. And believe me, if our revenue tripled, I'd be on another hiring spree, right? So you want to keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. Before we move forward, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitter, please retweet. If you're watching on Facebook, please share this to your page. Take 1 second to do that. On the count of three, everybody, thumbs up, subscribe, share, retweet. 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Everybody, please subscribe. Very important. And thank you, Armis, for your kind words. I see you in there. Now, let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers are catching heat right now, because for some reason, somebody in the Lakers organization decided that they were a small business. somebody inside the Lakers organization decided that it was okay for them to take one of the paycheck protection plan loans to the tune of about $4.4 million. Now, if you want to know why this is absolutely ridiculous, crazy, just absurd, the Los Angeles Lakers are worth about $4.4 billion. The last people that need to be touching any of this stimulus money, any of it, are the billionaires. It should be criminal for them to try to touch that money. But remember, you got to go look at the top, right? If you look at the Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, who's giving, what I consider to be pretty fake outrage over this, right? He's like, this is outrageous. This is unbelievable. Look at Steve Mnuchin's background. Steve Mnuchin went to Yale University. He's a member of the Skull and Bones, one of those secret societies that they don't let black people like me into. Not that I'd ever want to join, but I'm sure they're doing something where they're plotting to take over the world. He actually has made movies. He went to Wall Street. Like, I had a lot of students that went to Wall Street from Syracuse University. That's a little secret black folks y'all don't know, is that a lot of the folks, in certain communities have these direct lines that get them access to privilege and power once they graduate. So Syracuse University was basically where you sent your kids to if they couldn't get into Yale, or if they couldn't get into Wharton. So, but they still got those fancy jobs on Wall Street. A lot of my students came from privileged families where they'd say, yeah, I'm the dumb one in my family. My older brother went to Wharton, but they both end up on Wall Street making money. It's just one becomes Al Pacino, the other one becomes Fredo in The Godfather. If you remember The Godfather, Fredo was the dumb brother, right? So he wasn't the smart one, but he still got the privilege. Just like Trump's family. Trump's son, he has two sons. He has I think Donald Trump Jr., if I'm not mistaken, who's the smart one, and then he's got the Fredo, the one with the blonde hair, who's not that bright, right? So basically, Steve Mnuchin, he wasn't the Fredo of the family. He was one of the smart ones. He went to Yale, and he got into this Skull and Bone Society. He goes to Wall Street, makes his first 10, 20, 30, 40 million. Then he actually gets into making movies, something that I've been trying to get you black folks to really support. And you have. I'm not going to say that you're not supporting that. But when we do Black Movie Night, what we're trying to do is infiltrate that industry, because black people are the foundation, the economic foundation for that industry. We go see the movies, we consume more entertainment than anybody else, and I feel that we should have a piece of that pie. I feel that black people should own a piece of that, right? So that's why we're making movies. We just signed another movie deal the other day. We really are doing this. This is really happening, right? And so he made movies. His movies, he got together with a group of investors, just like I've talked to you guys about doing, just like I talked to Jay Morrison about doing. He got together with a group of wealthy investors, and they created some really interesting franchises. Like, what's one of them? I think, what was it? Something in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I forgot what it is, but I remember seeing the word Marvel. If you create a Marvel movie, you're going to be rich, right? So Steve Mnuchin, makes a ton of money on Wall Street, makes 2 more tons of money in Hollywood. And he's from the Jewish community, by the way. This is how a strong community builds its economic strength and builds its economic leaders and keeps the money in house. So from the Jewish community, he goes to fancy private schools, gets into Yale, gets in the Skull and Bone Society, goes to Wall Street, starts making movies, connects to Hollywood, which is also a pretty Jewish-run organization, and now he's worth $300 million. So you can't really convince me that a guy who has that kind of a trajectory. I study the history of all the interesting people that we talk about, right? Trump, I read his bio going back, his family history about 100 years to understand the Trump family and where he comes from and what his thinking is, right? A lot of these folks, right? So you can't tell me that a guy like a Steve Mnuchin, who's the Treasury Secretary, worth $300 million, who made a bunch of money in Jewish Wall Street and Jewish Hollywood, you can't tell me that, that he didn't know. This is my point. This is my point I'm getting to. You can't tell me that he did not know that big companies like the Los Angeles Lakers would be digging their hand in the pot first. You can't tell me he did not know that big companies like Ruth Chris were going to go in and dig their hand in the pot first. You can't tell me that he didn't know that over 200 public companies were going to jump in and grab that money. You can't tell me he didn't know that Harvard and Yale would be receiving the money, like if they were direct depositing this money into their bank account, like $10 million. Here you go, Harvard. Harvard was like, we didn't even ask for the money. I don't know if y'all read this. Anybody else read this? They didn't even ask for. They're like, we don't want them. Our endowment is $40 billion. We good. We're good. We don't need the money. They literally just gave them the money without them even asking for it. Simultaneously, you have a lot of small businesses out here, and I talk to my accountant, and they tell me what's happening on the street and what's going on the ground. Small businesses out here, a lot of black businesses out here, a lot of black people, a lot of people, struggling people out here who can't touch that money, who can't get access to that money, and it's absolutely shocking. I think that they should be ashamed of themselves. Even the companies that are giving the money back. Shake Shack gave the money back. Well, why did you apply for the money in the first place? The Lakers are giving the money back. Well, why did you apply for the money in the first place? Well, what's happening is a couple of things. One, you must understand, Rahm Emanuel, Obama's buddy in Chicago, Rahm Emanuel had a statement one time. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Rahm said it. I'm going to double check that. He said that you never let a good crisis go to waste. You never let a good crisis go to waste. So while everybody's scared and quarantining and hiding in their house and wondering if they're going to get sick, rich folks and powerful folks are maneuvering. They're moving the chess pieces. This is going on a global scale. The Chinese and the Russians are already preparing for a new world order as a result of the weakness in the United States that's resulting from the fact that their whole population and their whole economy has frozen due to this virus. The best way to really actually to stop America, and this is why 9/11 happened the way that it did, where it did. That's why they attacked the biggest, most powerful center of economic power on earth, with the World Trade Center, one of the biggest. They did this because America's strength comes from the fact that we have so much wealth. And so they said, look, if we blow up their World Trade Center, at 9 a.m. when everybody's on their way to work, that's not just gonna kill their ability to do business. Can't open up Wall Street if Wall Street's blown up, right? It also will put something in their brain. It will create fear in their brain that will freeze them up and keep them from being able to move forward, right? So basically, you're having lots and lots of the rich and powerful are maneuvering, moving the chess pieces around. They know that this too shall pass. This is not the end of the world. We're not all going to die because we went to the grocery store without our mask. 50,000 people sounds like a big number of deaths, but it's not very big in a country of 3.3 million people. It does not mean that each life does not have value. It just means that 1% of the country is 3.3 million. We have 331 million people in this country. 331 million people. 1% is 3.3 million. 1/10 of 1% is 330,000. So 1/6 of 1/10 of 1%. That's what you're talking about. That's what we're dealing with. That's why wealthy people are saying this too shall pass. Right? If we're talking about 10 million deaths, then they'd be like, okay, we got this might hold us up for a little bit. Russia had 27 million deaths during World War II. The Chinese had 15 million deaths during the Great Famine under Chairman Mao back in the Communist Revolution or whatever they called it. Right? 50,000 doesn't really shake the Richter scale relative to the massive amounts of death that some countries have gone through. That's why you're seeing Russia and China responding to all of this very differently from the United States. In China, they're like 50,000 people. That's how many people die in our country in an hour, right? So I'm not saying that it's not important. I'm just I'm breaking it down for you. I'm giving you facts, not innuendo. I'm not giving it. Maybe a little bit of opinion, right? Because I have my own experience, but I want you to kind of understand how the chess is played and how the checkers being played. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Also, I'm going to mention to you guys my stock pick of the day. If you're looking for a stock that I'm going to buy, there's a company called LabCorp, the LABCORP. LabCorp is a stock that I'm going to buy today because LabCorp is one of the companies that is expected to benefit from all the extra lab testing that's going to happen. We're moving into a regime where human beings are afraid of each other. Everybody's scared to catch cold. Anybody sneezes, people gonna run to their car, right? So now we're gonna be testing, and LabCorp is one of the companies that's expected to benefit from this. So that's the stock pick of the day. If you want to know all my stock picks and you want to see everything I'm picking on a regular basis, basis, feel free to join my Black Stock Market Program. It's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Somebody type that in, please. It's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. The first month will cost you $1. It costs $1. Also, those who join my masterclass get access to what Dr. Boyce is buying. You get access to what I'm putting in my portfolio. So feel free to go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com if that's of interest to you. Now, so here's the deal. Let me read some of this to you about this the Lakers getting this loan. Several large restaurant chains, an asset management firm, and even the Los Angeles Lakers have returned money they received from the first $349 billion allotment in the Paycheck Protection Program. The decision to give the money comes amid complaints that many large companies are wrongly accessing a federal loan program intended to help small businesses hurt by the coronavirus panic. Still, more than 200 other public companies are holding on to money from the program. So there are 200 companies that are not giving the money back. They include 3 hotel companies tied to Texas entrepreneur Monty Bennett. They got a total of $69 million. The program provides loans to small businesses to hold back the avalanche of layoffs generated by the lockdown. The avalanche has not been held back. 26 million people have lost their jobs. If you're one of that 26 million, my heart goes out to you. I go back to my fundamental belief that you are probably in economic danger if you get all your income from one source. My fundamental argument to you is that during this time that you're at home, I encourage you to financially quarantine your kids by teaching them all the different ways to make money. I'm sorry, but I just want to keep it plain for you. Sure, you can teach your kids to be 100% socialist or communist or something, but even China, a communist country, still operates a lot like capitalists. They still go out and get that bread so that they can protect their communism, because even communism and socialism requires protection from some sort of economic engine that supports what you're trying to do. So I encourage you to quarantine your kids from the effects of predatory capitalism and racism and white supremacy by teaching them about wealth at an early age, by at the very least introducing them to the many ways that wealthy people make money, starting with the 3 pillars of wealth: stock market investing, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Or you can sit back in the corner and just keep complaining about the fact that some people are getting ahead and some people are being left behind. The choice is up to you. Okay, so I encourage you to quarantine your kids. I talk to my kids about the pillars of wealth every day. I talk to them about the ways that suckers make money and the way smart people make money. And I'm not saying that if you were taught sucker style money making, I'm not saying that it's your fault. Right? I was raised to be a sucker too. I was raised, and my parents, they didn't know they were raised to be suckers, but that's kind of how it felt. It was like, wait a minute, why is my mother working 60 hours a week? My father's working 50 hours a week, and we still don't have as much money as the guy down the street who seems to be on vacation all the time. How does that work? Right? So we said, wait a minute, I don't want to be a sucker no more. Right? So basically what happens is you have to get to the point where you step your game up and understand how this game is being played. Everybody's not being killed during this financial crisis. Let's make that clear. Everybody's not getting their butts kicked. There are some people that are making more money right now than they've made in the last 2, 3, 4 years, right? A lot of it comes down to positioning and kind of knowing what's really happening in this economy. And so I'm not really able to join your pity party if you just say, oh, the stock market's rigged and they out there doing. Yeah, it's all rigged. The whole economy's rigged. If you didn't know that it was rigged, then you don't understand economics. The American economy has been rigged really actually since it began, but it's been double rigged since Ronald Reagan was president of the United States and passed all those tax laws in favor of investors. He passed tax laws in favor of entrepreneurs. He passed tax laws in favor of people who own real estate. So if you want to know if it's rigged, yes, it's rigged. Absolutely. If you want to know, do I think the market's going to crash? Absolutely, it's going to crash. It always crashes, and people make money during the crashes. Just understand that, right? So everybody in the chat, because every time I talk about this stuff, there'll be somebody that'll be in there like, that all that's rigged. The stock market's rigged. Rich people making money while poor people. Okay, fine. Make a decision. Are you going to sit and complain about it, or are you going to adjust? Right? That's the key to survival. The ability to evolve is connected to your ability to survive. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player in history, said in his book, he said, if you stop growing, then you are dying. That basically you must continuously evolve to the game that's all around you. If Michael Jordan had not continuously evolved in his playing career, he would have sat there as a guy scoring 35 points a game and having losing season after losing season, never winning a championship, and being mad that somebody else was getting the trophy that he felt belonged to him. So that's your decision. Either sit and complain or do the work to make the adjustment. I encourage you to, at the very least, teach your children how to do the work so they have the ability to make the adjustment, so they're not stuck in the same economic slavery that a lot of people are stuck in, where the student loan debt is so high that you can never repay it, and you're trying to pay off this mountain of debt on a low-paying job with one stream of income that might disappear at any moment. That's my 2 cents. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. Also, by the way, we have financial workbooks for children. If you're interested, feel free to go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. We invented those specifically for black children because I want your children to have a chance to get ahead of the curve. It doesn't cost anything near what it costs to send them to basketball camp and football camp and cheerleading camp, but it will make all the difference in the life of your child. So feel free to go to financialworkbooks.com. Okay, let me keep reading here. All right, so there are 200 other public companies that got all this money, which is just unbelievable. Let me see here. Let's see. So I'm looking at some of the companies here. I'm trying to see if I see any names that are familiar. There are a lot here. What I'm gonna do, actually, you know what I'm gonna do, guys? I'm gonna actually share in the chat in case you want to see it. I'm gonna share a link right now where you can actually see the list of the public companies, and I'm going to actually put that in the chat for those who are watching the recording of this video. It'll be on theblackfinancialchannel.com, theblackfinancialchannel.com. So the program provides loans to small businesses. Because the program was thrown together so quickly, it wasn't always clear who was supposed to benefit from it, and millions of companies applied. As a result, money allotted to the program was gone within 2 weeks, and hundreds of thousands of small businesses were left out. Congress has approved an additional $320 billion that's rolling out on Monday. The controversy intensified after reports that some of the money went to big restaurant chains like Shake Shack, Ruth Chris, etc. Now, let me ask you this. Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. If these companies had not been busted by the media, do you think they would have gave the money back? If these companies had not been called out by the media, give me a yes or no. Do you think they would have gave the money back? The link, G-Dub, I'm going to put it on theblackfinancialchannel.com, theblackfinancialchannel.com. I'm going to put it in the chat for this video. Just so you know, I said the Lakers were worth $4.4 billion. Actually, they're worth $3.7 billion, according to Forbes. Sorry about that. Sorry, what's $700 million between friends? So there's a Manning and Napier, an asset and wealth management firm that also returns $6.7 million. And so basically you have a lot of people that are taking advantage of the crisis, and I think it's absolutely despicable. It reminds me of when I was a kid. I remember when I used to go to Sunday school, and back before I became a heathen. And when I would go to this Sunday school, I would get on this little bus. I was about 7 years old, and I would get on the bus, and I remember I would see my friend Warren. And you know how you got those friends that you know when you're little. Anybody ever have a friend that you thought was your friend, but they really weren't your friend? But you thought they were your friend, but they weren't your friend. Well, Warren was like that. So Warren, I thought he was my friend because he was like 12, and so Warren, I would ride the bus with Warren and his brother Andre, and one day at the church we had a contest on who can answer the most Bible questions, and the person who won the contest will get to put their money into a bucket full of nickels and pennies, right? And pull out as much money as you could, right? So I was, I didn't know at that time I was kind of smart. I think I'm smart now. Back then I had no idea because all my teachers were telling me I was stupid. A lot of y'all got sons that are going through it in the educational system. I was one of those kids too. Don't give up on your son. He's going to be, there's a good chance he'll be okay. You just got to encourage him and teach him how to be a man. So anyway, I answered the Bible questions and I won the contest. So I'm excited, right? I get to put my hand in this bucket full of nickels and pennies and get all the money I could. So they weren't going to do the hand thing until the next Sunday after. So but the whole week everybody knew I won, right? So Warren comes to me, right? Warren makes a deal with me, or he tries to make a deal. He says, "Let me put my hand in. Let me reach in for you, and we'll just share the money." And I was like, no, like, why would I do that? He said, well, because I have bigger hands. And I looked, and his hands were big. Like, my hands are here, his hands are like here, right? So he's like, I have bigger hands. I can get more money, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, well, you know, I'm 7. So when you're 7, a lot of things make sense that really don't make sense. So basically, I agree. I'm like, okay. So you're gonna put your hand in the bucket, and you're gonna get a bunch of money, and then we're gonna split it, and then we'll have more money, because, you know, it was like a partnership. Like, I'm thinking, like, this was one of my first bad business partnerships. I've made a few of them. I made some good ones. I made some bad ones. This is one of the worst ones I ever made. So Warren goes in, he reaches into the bucket, and he grabs all the pennies, right, and the nickels, right. And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, we about to get paid. This is gonna be great. So we get on the church bus, and I'm like, hey, Warren, you know, when we gonna split the money? He's like, oh, we're gonna do it when we get home. When we get home, because we live in the same neighborhood. I'm gonna come to your house. And I'm like, okay, all right. So we get home. Warren never comes to my house. So I go to his house looking for him. Warren ain't answering the door. I see Warren later. I talk to him, and I'm like, hey, where's the money at? Warren is like, what money? I ain't no money. I didn't get that much money. So literally, this guy basically did to me what big corporations in a capitalist society are allowed to do to small businesses without adequate government regulation. Because there was nobody there to regulate the transaction between me and Warren, to make sure that I got my cut the way we agreed upon, Warren went in and took all the pennies and the nickels, and he kept all that to himself. And I'm mad about that to this day. So if Warren is watching, just know I'm 48 years old, and I'm still pissed off at you. So do not inbox me on Facebook and say, remember me from back in the day? I'm going to ask you to give me my money back with interest. So just know that, right? So basically, that's kind of what occurs. This is one of the downfalls of capitalism, when it's not properly regulated. I think capitalism can stimulate free enterprise. It can, it can blast off an economy. It can create all kinds of opportunity. It can create lots of jobs. But the problem is that when you don't regulate the process, the big dogs eat all the food before the little dogs ever get a chance to eat. And we know that that's fundamentally unfair and problematic. And the other thing, too, is that it eventually catches up with you. It eventually catches up with the society. So America, to some extent, has been, for 40 years at least, a society where the big dogs are eating before the little dogs. And eventually, the little dogs get together and gang up on the big dogs. So that's where your country's going. Your country's going in the direction of people eventually getting sick of it. I think that this crisis, I believe, if you want to ask me, like, if I think that there's a social engineering aspect to how the crisis is being managed, absolutely. Remember, it was a Democrat who said that you never waste a good crisis, right? Not just the Republicans. The Republicans are sinister in their own way, but the Democrats are the ones who say, oh, this is a great opportunity. This whole virus thing, if we keep people afraid and keep people broke and unemployed and struggling, this is a great opportunity to push forward. Guess what? A socialist agenda. The socialist agenda says, to hell with rich people, let's take all their money and share it and let people stay home and get unemployment or whatever, right? And you can feel how you want about that. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that there's an agenda. And I want you guys to just, for whatever your own personal reasons are, look between the lines. Try to understand what's happening between the lines, because things usually aren't what they appear to be. That's the key idea. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking and get off my soapbox. I hope this conversation helped you. Once again, the stock pick of the day is LabCorp. So feel free to, if that's a stock you want to get also, I just want you to know I'm going to buy this stock because LabCorp is going to benefit from all the lab testing and all that. If you want to see more of the stocks that I'm buying, you guys know my masterclass starts on March 6th. Everybody in the masterclass gets free access to my portfolio where you can see everything that I'm buying. I do regular videos. I do a lot of videos on the things that I'm buying and why. So feel free to go to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com, and you can still join us. We start in a few days, and I hope you guys have a good day. Hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button before you go, and I shall see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.